Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Pat's Acres karting video. This one's going to be a lot of fun. I'll talk about why we're here and the format of the event in just a bit, but for now let's focus on this race start where the person on pole position seems to be confused. He's supposed to be in that lane over there to the left like everybody else is, but here he is just centered down the lane. We're going to get going though. We're focusing for a minute on the driver you just saw in the blue life preserver. That's Harv, and Harv is my driving partner for this event. It's a team event, and Harv saw me a little while back and invited me to be on his team. So if you're watching this video, Harv, thanks for the invite as we watch you go by there. At this point in the race that you just saw him in the dry part of the race, as you see it's no longer dry, but when Harv was driving and it was dry, he was absolutely killing it. We decided to do two 30-minute stints. He did the 30 minutes to start. I did this second 30 minutes, as you can see. And when Harv handed me the race, he was a good 20 seconds plus ahead of the second place kart. He was really just absolutely killing it out there. Now, as you see, as soon as he handed me the kart is when it was starting to rain. So I did my entire 30 minutes as a wet race, and it was challenging. It was a lot of fun because of the challenge, but it was challenging. Now, as you see here, at this point in the race, it's the very beginning of my stint. It's only just started to rain pretty hard, so there are actually still dry patches on the course right here, like, for example, under the trees that aren't wet yet. And so there are portions of the track that you'll see as I come up to them that are still dry where I will actually swerve toward them and target them for braking so that I can get a better braking distance in the dry and hopefully pick up some speed that way without being too unstable. But this kart is so difficult at this point just to stay on the pavement. It's getting wetter. Here I'm going to go over, and this is not where I usually brake, but I'm just looking for dry pavement to hit the brakes so that I can get a little bit, there it is again, a little bit of braking effort without breaking the back of the cart loose and coming around. But those dry patches don't last for long. As you see right there, completely missed the apex, barely even tried, because you just can't get the cart to turn. And if you've ever driven Pats before and you hear, where I lift off of the throttle and where I'm getting onto the brakes. Let's listen for it in turn one here. See, I'm lifting off way back. Nothing close to where you would normally brake for that turn. Normally you're on the throttle to turn one all the way in after the turn-in point. I don't usually start braking for turn one until after I've already turned left to dive into the turn. But you just can't risk it in these conditions. As you see right here, it's hard to even keep the kart straight. Here we go again, braking in the dry portion, trying to get a little bit more braking force without coming around. There it is again. It's so hard to keep the kart even on the black part right now. And there it comes around. So the reason that spin happened is because in these conditions, the only way to get the kart to turn into some of these corners is to be braking while you're turning. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the weight of the kart to shift forward and press down on the front tires so that hopefully as you turn, the extra weight on the front tires will actually give you a little bit of grip and you'll turn. But there's a point of diminishing returns with that. At some point you've bled off all of the speed of the kart, and you still haven't got any turning force. The cart is just pushed straight forward, and you're almost at a standstill, so now you have to get back on the throttle again, but your tires are still turned, and you're still trying to turn, and the back end just comes around, and you loop it. And the best you can hope for is that you don't do it in a really bad spot. I got lucky that I turned it in the carousel. Here it's already been a lap, and I've been talking about it the whole time, but turning it in the carousel the way that I did, I could go up and around and not have to go through the grass and possibly get stuck. But in reality, I think I'm actually doing pretty well here, despite the slow speed, just for the fact that I'm still on the racetrack. As we keep going along and watching some of the other carts that you can see on the camera, there's a lot of people that are just not even keeping it on the road. So really, in a wet race like this, in rental carts, you can make up a lot of positions, even if you're slow, just by not going into the grass. You can see the rooster tails here. Every time I turn the wheels, the rooster tails are pointed directly at my helmet, and so it's actually rather difficult to see. For most of this stint, I can barely see. And it does no good to wipe your helmet visor. Really, that just makes it worse. The visibility gets even worse if you try to wipe your helmet, as I found out a couple of times during the stint. Okay, so as we come out of the carousel, keep your eye on the cart in front of me. He's in a blue hoodie. Watch how he goes through the final hairpin. Just a little bit loose. And what it lets me do is I get a much better exit out of that hairpin onto the straight. And of course, this is the longest straight on the track, so it's real important to get the right exit out of that final hairpin as we watch a cart in front of me wash up high. Because that exit, your exit speed out of that final hairpin is crucial to your lap time overall, and it's where you're going to get a lot of overtakes done from people not being as fast as you are out of that hairpin. And so we go up over the crest here. He gives me plenty of racing room on the outside. I don't know if that was what was in his head or not, but much appreciated. As I make my own mistake into River 1 here, and there's Blue Hoodie again, waiting for his opportunity, which I gave him. So we're going to have a little bit of a battle here in the wet conditions as we watch somebody loop it in the carousel again. I get it. Been there myself. Been there, done that. But it's real nice that we can have these kinds of on-track battles on a wet track and not bump each other off. It's always great when that can happen. So, kudos to the drivers around me here. I get a slightly better exit this time, not quite as good in comparison as last time, but I think I'm a little bit better on the brakes into turn 1 and 2 here. Braking for that one is real tricky. It's your highest speeds on the racetrack, and that didn't help his cause right there. So braking in that corner in the wet is real difficult, because whatever you do, you cannot loop the cart right there, and with rear brakes only, that's tough to do. Now, coming up here, we're going to see Blue Hoodie make a bit of a mistake there, just kind of understeers off into the grass, and he's lost a bunch of momentum. It's almost impossible to get it back, and I think that is the mistake that finally lets me through, and I think that particular battle is over, at least for now. We'll see if he comes back. Okay, so as we go over the crest here, I'm going to look left. There he is. There's the guy in the brown shirt. I didn't know it, but he was in second place. And he's about to make the pass for the lead. We have a good, respectful pass here. And yeah, so that's the pass for the lead. When Harv handed me the race, again, he was 20 plus seconds ahead, killing it. And I was doing pretty well. I passed quite a few people, but as you can see, he was quicker. Legitimately just passed me on pace. So I talked to him after the race. I don't think he had like any specific tips. It's hard to have real specific tips for why you're fast. But he was quick. He wasn't pleased with that move there apparently, but he was quick, got ahead of me, and I am now in second place. As we go by this guy, notice his visor is up, and I just think it's really funny that the guy there in the black helmet and brown shirt there, which that was a close call, by the way. I almost hit that guy. I'm glad I looked far enough ahead and I saw him do that, but almost hit him. Yeah, I just think it's funny that they had their visors up, and I saw them with their visors up, and I thought, you know, maybe that's worth a try, because it was really hard to see, like I said. So I saw them do it, and I put my visor up for just a few seconds, and it was awful. I put my visor up, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see me do it or not. And that's another one just right there on the racing line. Really could have hit both of them. I don't know why he was standing in front of the cart like that. That's really dangerous. But yeah, so I put the visor up for just a few seconds, and especially when I did one of those turns like that and the rooster tail from the front tire, it just sprayed me right in the face. It got right in my eyes. I put my visor down, but even for a little bit after that, I had dirty water in my eyes for a few minutes after that, and it made the race so much worse. I don't know how they were racing with their visors like that. I should ask them next time, but it was completely impossible for me, and I put my visor down and just put up with the low visibility. So this is as good a time as any to talk about Harv again, give Harv another shout out, hopefully he's watching, about the shoes that I'm wearing. I don't know if you've noticed these shoes that I'm wearing. They're real racing boots. They're real karting, maybe car racing. I don't know. I don't own a pair, but they're real racing boots. And I'm wearing them because Harv gave them to me. I guess he had a friend that gave him those racing boots, and they don't fit. So when I showed up to the event and saw Harv, he reaches into his backpack and he says, "Hey man, you want these?" And I look at him and he's like, "Yeah, they're racing boots, and they fit really well." And I don't think these things are cheap. I don't know if they're brand new or not, but they're nice. They're pretty nice to me, and I don't think racing boots are cheap. So thanks, Harv, for the new race boots. All right, so coming up here, you're gonna watch me really botch this corner. Yeah, I hit the brakes too hard. Back end started to come around. Had to counter steer into it. Developed into understeer through the corner, and now I've just lost all that time down the straight. It was really just not great. And then coming through this hairpin, I get pretty lucky. He's gonna go around, and luckily I can just open up the steering wheel and go around him on the outside, but if his spin had developed a little bit differently, I would have gone into the side of him, and there would have been very little that I could do about it. So, as we come out onto the straight here, keep your eye on brown shirt in front of me. You'll see that I gain a lot of ground on him really quickly. And I didn't know why at the time. All I saw was that he was on the straight and suddenly started slowing down. I thought maybe he had a problem with his cart. I don't know. I didn't know why he was slowing down. I don't know. I don't remember if I lifted off or not. I might have just out of confusion why he was slowing down. And after the race, we talked, and what he says is that he saw a yellow flag somewhere on the track, I think prior to the final hairpin. I did not see a yellow flag, and I've watched my footage back, and I don't see the flag, so I'm not sure which one he's talking about. I don't doubt that he saw it. But what he said was that he saw the yellow flag, and he wasn't sure when he could start accelerating again, or something like that. I think what it is he was slowing down and looking up at the flag stand for some sort of guidance. And so he slowed down, and what's funny about it is that he slowed down in the middle of a straight where I had all the momentum. It should have been very difficult for him to avoid me overtaking him, and yet as we watch this video, he's still there in front of me. So I guess that's just how much faster than me he was, that he could slow down on the straight, just let off the accelerator and look around for some guidance. He sees me coming, gets on the gas again, and he's still in front of me. So if you're watching this, leave a comment, where you saw the flag, and B, congrats, I guess, because you're just that much quicker today. I'm gonna blame the carts, but probably you're just that much quicker. But yeah, leave a comment if you're watching this, and take your kudos, I guess. Again, we're going to see how important it is to keep your head up, looking forward, because there's so many people sitting at the apex of corners, and I'm not blaming them. It's hard to keep the cart on the track, but you as the driver, you cannot get fixated on the apex that you're currently concentrating on. Gotta keep your head up and keep looking corners ahead, because if you don't see those guys, you're just gonna go right into the side of them and ruin your own day. So at this point in the race, Brown Shirt is beating me convincingly, but he's not running away. and I still have some hope that if I can keep in touching distance, and if he makes a mistake, you know, that I might be able to get him. Instead, however, what we see is that it is I that make the next mistake. And fortunately, it doesn't come all the way around, but I have lost a lot of momentum with that mistake. That is the second and final time in the race that I let the back end come around on me. I'm glad it was only two, but as you can see, it certainly did not help me catch Brown Shirt, and I think that's the last time that he's really in any kind of, you know, gettable range. I think at this point, even if he moved his card around, I still wouldn't get him. So, yeah, that's the competitive portion of the race done. At this point, I think I pretty much just kind of keep the cart clean, keep it on the track, going at a reasonable pace. You know, nobody else passes me. I do a few more passes, lapping people and, you know, people that spin out in corners, but it's a pretty solid second place from here on out. You know, which I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with how this race turned out. Harv did a great job in the first stint, building us a sizable lead. And then when it came for my stint, I've never actually raced a rental cart in the rain. So it was a lot of fun, and you know, we got second overall, you know, for the entire field. I think that's a pretty good result. Sometimes when you come up to slower traffic like this, it could be a lot of fun. I don't know how many people watch IMSA racing, GT car racing, but sometimes it can feel a little bit like you're driving a prototype and now you're coming along and you've got some GTD traffic and whatever else, and you know, now your task is to practice your racecraft, see how quickly you can get around you know, the slower traffic without compromising your race. And sometimes you know, you're having a battle with somebody that's right behind you or somebody that's right in front of you, and now you're coming up on the slower traffic, and maybe you can use one of the slower carts as a pick, or maybe you're following somebody and you know that they're coming up on a pack of slower carts and hoping that they flub, you know, the pass a little bit, and you can take the opportunity and get around them. So yeah, I think it's kind of a lot of fun when you're making good progress like this, and you come up on the slower carts and you get to practice, you know, getting around them quickly. Okay, everybody. That is the checkered flag. This has been the Pat's Acres endurance event. You've been watching me, Bill Hurt, and my teammate Harv taking second place overall. Man, this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. I am completely soaked. I'm not sure if you can see it in my pants. I'm completely soaked. I just went and got my jacket at the last second before I jumped in the cart, and I'm glad I did, because I'm wearing a jacket under this as well, and it kept me warm the whole time, kept me mostly dry, my torso. But yeah, it was just a whole lot of fun going around a wet track, getting completely soaked, taking second place. I couldn't have asked for more. I did not expect to do as well as we did, and to have as much fun as we did. I knew it was going to be fun, but man, this was a blast. If you've enjoyed the video, please do subscribe, leave a comment. I'm going to be posting more Pats stuff pretty soon. I've got a backlog of videos to post, so there'll be more Pats content coming. Yeah, enjoy the videos. And if you haven't been to Pat's yet, definitely go. Right outside Canby. These carts are a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun seeing how much performance you can get out of these things. So thanks for watching. See you next time.
Hey man, that was a good race.
Oh yeah, dude.
Was that a pass for position?
What?
Was that a pass for position? Did you get me for position?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
think I didn't finish first. I got the checker.
Yeah. You got the checker?
Yeah, that was a pass.
Did we? Oh man. Yeah, it was the guy in the brown shirt.
Yeah.
Oh dude, he passed me, but then he didn't really lead me, so I thought I had a chance at him.
And then he slowed down. He listened. He's like, hey, where you at?
Yeah, why did he slow down?
After a little bit, and then it started getting a little wet. Like, whoa.
Dude, you had a good gap. You had a good gap. When you had to drop to me, I think it was like 20 seconds.
There was something happened behind me. I should have kind of blocked it off a little bit. Did you? Yeah. That's good.
Dude, hey, good race, man.
Send me that on my phone at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta stop. Hold on. It's still.